It's time for Real Talk on the Deeper Encounter show. And this afternoon, I'm sure you've seen it all in your feeds, in your social media feeds, and you've probably seen it on the news. But the Real Talk topic today, I want to talk about this Netflix series that they are thinking about coming out with. And I say thinking about because it's been met with an enormous amount of opposition. And so this Netflix series, I know you have heard about it. I know you heard about it. But if you haven't, I'm not trying to give it too much publicity today, but I feel like it's something that we need to talk about. All right. There's a Netflix series that's coming out called The First Temptation of Christ. And this, it's supposed to be a Netflix Christmas comedy special. I don't know. It may have already come out. I don't know. But it's supposed to be a Netflix Christmas comedy special that portrays a homosexual Jesus. If you're just now hearing about this for the first time, then I will say that again. This Netflix series is called The First Temptation of Christ. And it is going to, or supposed to, portray a gay Jesus. It was created by a Brazilian YouTube comedy group. It's called Porta dos Fundos. And it's a 46-minute satirical special that I guess Jesus is supposed to be coming home to a surprise birthday party, and he's supposed to bring to this birthday party a male friend, and it suggests that it portrays Jesus as being homosexual a little bit more. I mean, that's been the storyline, but it also portrays Mary as being it portrays Mary, the mother of Jesus, as smoking marijuana, and a lot of other suggestions that are flat out sacrilegious. I don't even know how to beat around this one. I normally give you guys a chance to type in and tell me how you feel. So please, how do y'all feel about this Netflix series that's about to come out? What are your thoughts? Just be open and honest. It's a safe place this afternoon. All right. Just type in. I want to know, how do you feel about this Netflix series that is about to come out portraying Jesus as homosexual? This is called The First Temptation of Christ. You're live on Real Talk. I see you guys typing in Real Talk. I see y'all starting to comment. So tell me, how do y'all feel about this show that is about to come out? When you saw that, when you saw it come up on your feed, or if you're just now hearing about it for the first time, what are your initial thoughts on there being a show, okay, on Netflix, on a mainstream national platform that portrays the Lord Jesus as openly homosexual? I want to hear how y'all feel about that topic and the idea of this show coming out portraying Jesus as homosexual. All right. If you're just tuning into the Deeper Encounter show, it's Shayne Simpson here, and we have just started our Real Talk topic, and we're talking about this controversial Netflix series called The First Temptation of Christ. That is, it's a Netflix Christmas comedy special that is coming out that portrays Jesus. It suggests that Jesus is openly homosexual. This show does, and we are just talking about it. I just want to wrap with y'all. Tell me how you feel about that. And I'm just going to assume that you have so much to say about it that you are still typing, because I don't see any of the comments coming in yet. All right. If you want to talk live on the radio, you can reach us live here at 954-998-4777. Again, 954-998-4777 if you want to talk about this topic live on the Deeper Encounter show. All right, so I've got a comment on here. It says, crazy, should be boycotted, should not even be released. All right, So Nora says that it's crazy and it should be boycotted. It should not even be released. So along those lines, and I think this number has grown. I've in the report that I have, there's been a petition. Maybe that's what you've seen on your social media feed. There's been a petition going around to electronically sign this petition that calls for the special to be prohibited and pulled from Netflix. All right. So Nora, a lot of people agree with you that it should be boycotted and that it should not be released. All right. At the time that this article was produced, and I think this article is about 3 or 4 days old, there were 1.8 million people that had signed the petition. And if I remember correctly, I think I saw in my feed an update that showed about 2.1 million, all right, that have signed the petition for this show to be prohibited and pulled from Netflix. So there are many people to the tune of some 2+ million, Nora, that agree with you that this show should be boycotted and pulled from Netflix. All right. So we're talking about the controversial Christmas comedy special that's supposed to be coming out on Netflix called The First Temptation of Christ, that portrays our Lord Jesus as being openly homosexual. And I want to know how you feel. I've got a comment here on Facebook that says, I love Netflix, but if they portrayed that, I would unsubscribe immediately. Again, our listener says, I love Netflix, but if they portrayed that, I would unsubscribe immediately. All right. So there's multiple ways that we can protest. And in today's day and age, you know, we hear the old term, we hear old terms like boycott and, you know, protest and things like that. In today's digital age, with a program and an organization like Netflix, one of the most powerful ways that you can make your voice heard and that we can collectively make our voice heard is to unsubscribe from that service. Because ultimately, when the subscriptions go down, that's how you impact their dollars. Okay, that's how you impact their bottom line. And that, are you willing? The question is, do you agree with Althea here? And would you unsubscribe if this show actually came out? Would you sacrifice your binge watching habits? All right. And would you sacrifice a little bit of your own time and what you like to do in your own in your private time of watching Netflix and watching shows? Would you sacrifice that to make a statement about this show? Okay, we're talking about The First Temptation of Christ. This is a Netflix Christmas comedy special that is supposed to come out that portrays Jesus as gay. I got another comment in here. My boy Kerry is asking, is this for real? The answer is yes, this is absolutely for real, for real. Netflix is trying to come out with a show that was produced out of a Brazilian comedy group. And the show is supposed to portray Jesus as openly homosexual. Okay, it also portrays Mary, the mother of Jesus, as weed smoking, and there's a lot of other suggestions that this show is going to make. And so the question is, how do we feel about that? I got some other comments here that I want to go to. I see a comment here that says, look, we are against a TV show like this, but we allow things like this in the church. Sometimes we are scared to say how we feel, but support stuff that is against God. All right. So this listener is saying that he's against the TV show, but we allow things like this in the church. Wow, that's a loaded statement. I don't want to read too much into that. All right, we allow stuff like this in the church. I don't know what you mean there, Taj. Are you saying that we allow homosexuality in the church? Are you saying that we allow this type of sacrilegious expression of freedom of speech into the church. I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, so I don't want to make any conjecture. But I hear you saying that you are against this show. All right. I've got another comment in here. It says, first time hearing about it. Definitely makes me tilt my head, but I'm also trying to keep an open mind. Should it simply be taken as comedy? Should we look deeper into it? My fear is who may see it. I would hate for children to see it. Children don't understand the difference between reality and satire. Overall, probably not a good move for Netflix. Okay, so that's a great comment there, Rex, and we appreciate it this afternoon. So a lot of good points there, right? Should we be against it? Should we have an open mind and consider it comedy? Or is there a point where comedy crosses the line? Is there a point where comedy crosses the line? And what is that point where comedy crosses the line and we legitimately should take a stand against something that crosses the line and becomes sacrilegious or outwardly hateful? Okay, and I'm intentionally using the word hate because hate in today's society carries its own perception. Okay, and if it were the other way around, it would be very if it were a religious organization that was openly producing a piece of art, a movie, a series that openly bashed homosexuality and homosexuals or the LGBTQ community at large, I think that it would that production would be largely met with opposition and with accusations of being hateful. And I'm not saying whether it would be whether it should be considered hateful or not. What I'm saying is this on the opposite side an act of hate against the Christian religion? All right, just food for thought. Got a comment here that says we are to be in the world but not of the world. Okay, and I see another comment here that says it's a stunt. Publicity stunt to invoke an audience. If one belief is already established, then the show is a waste. I love that comment, Trevor. I love that. All right. It's a stunt. All right. Perhaps it's just to get publicity, right? I've already given this about 15 minutes of publicity right here, right now. We're talking about this show that otherwise would not have been talked about had this not come up. Okay. So I agree with you that our faith is established. All right. Our belief is already established. This show is not going to change our belief. Okay. The question is there a line to be drawn in the sand? Is there a line that that we should stand, that believers, Christians should stand up and enforce this as crossing that line? All right. It's food for thought. I saw a comment in here that said that the show started on December 3rd. For what it's worth, I say this on behalf of me, and I'll go as far as to say it on behalf of the GL365 audience. Please do not go and watch this show, The First Temptation of Christ. Do not watch it. If you do choose to keep Netflix, do not watch The First Temptation of Christ. The best way that we can boycott a show like this is to, if you're not willing to unsubscribe to Netflix, then the best way that we can boycott a show like this is to simply not watch it. All right. So let's not give the devil any credit or any props. We stand against any reflection of God and of Jesus Christ in a hateful and sacrilegious way, as this show seeks to do. We stand emphatically against it. All right. Listen, I thank you so much for tuning in to Real Talk. I told you it was just an hour. We're just on for an hour today. So we are going to end the Real Talk the Real Talk topic right there, and we're going to turn up for the next few minutes here on the Deeper Encounter Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and buckle up. We're about to turn it all the way up.
Buckle up. We're going deeper with Shayne Simpson on GL365 Radio.